Now, some general things and recaps about working with Cinema 4D and V-Ray using a Rhino model. First of all, just like I taught you to do in Rhino, there is no right or wrong when it comes to modeling. What do we mean by that? The idea is that as long as the model looks good enough for you to render, then you're probably doing a good job. Now, there are some things that we should understand in terms of like UV mapping and so on. But you know, this is for an advanced use, meaning, in my experience, if we work in visualization for architecture, we don't really need to go into mapping, into texturing that deep, meaning that we can use the interface of Cinema 4D with the tools that it gives us without having to struggle too much, okay? And it can be actually a lot of fun. Now, let's take a look and see what we have to do to start rendering. Now, we have the sun, we have the camera. What do we need to do is to change from standard, which is usually what you get as soon as you open Cinema 4D, to V-Ray Bridge. Once you get to V-Ray Bridge, what we are doing now, it's basically like saying, I have a camera, I need to switch it on, okay? So we go into indirect illumination, we click on GI on, and we load the preset, which is called Stefan Bigger Size. It's the number 2. As I already mentioned, Stefan is the owner of the company, and he makes these presets by himself. So, is everything clear so far? Brilliant. So now, let's just take a look. I click on render, and we'll see what happens, okay? First of all, notice how much faster this version of V-Ray is in comparison to the Rhino one. And this is simply because Cinema handles meshes much better than Rhino, meaning that when we render, we don't have to convert them. Good. So now, let's take a look at this rendering and let's make some observations. What do we notice when we look at this render? Ja, genau. Und? Was noch? Ja, genau, super. Ja, aber das ist ein Cheat, weil ich habe ja schon erzählt. Okay. So, it's okay. I really like the fact that you answered. Thank you very much, because otherwise I have to talk all the time myself. So let's sort one thing at a time, okay? Let's start, first of all, with the overbright colors. How do we do this? If we are photographers and we have a camera, we have a light outside and a camera. What do? Do we change the settings of the camera, or do we try to switch off the sun? Very good. My God, you're on fire today. So let's come on, I'm trying to support you guys. So what do? To change the settings of the camera, we click on the camera tag, okay? So we click on the camera tag, and we'll see we have some lens parameter. So the first thing that we could do, let's not get too complicated. The first thing that we can do, we all know how the shutter speed works, right? If a shutter speed is faster, then the image is darker, right? Because imagine that I have something that it's closed, and all of a sudden it opens, it lets light in, and then it closes. But if it does like this, then there is less light coming in, okay? So to make it faster, we click here and we say 500, okay? Yes, because it's like 1/500th, okay? So let's render again. And look at this. All of a sudden, we have a lot more definition. So it's extremely simple to control the way your rendering looks, just basing yourself on the idea that you are working with a real camera. and nothing more. Okay? Now, I know, as I told you, we shouldn't be trying to switch off the sun. That's okay. But there are some parameters that we can adjust from the sun to kind of have better a better visual output. What do I mean by that? Now, the sun is positioned, say, anywhere in the world, and it has a certain distance from our model. This is just the way the program works. What we can do, we can adjust the sides of the sun so that the shadows that are produced are a little bit softer. I know it's a lot of talking, let's just do it. I click on the light tag of vray. In sunlight parameters, I go down to size multiplier, and I change this to, say, 15. Let's take a look. Render. And now, all of a sudden, my shadows, which used to be so hard, are now soft and a little bit more realistic. Okay? Now, this is everything that I want to say about the sun, simply because just by doing this, you can take any 3D model and make a clay render. Okay? Some of you might not be interested in getting into high-end rendering, so this is all you have to do to make a very basic presentation of your project. Does that make sense? Great. With that said, I want to see every one of you doing high-end renderings. I'm not asking for clay renders, okay? So at the end of the year, when I'll come to your presentation, you all have to have beautiful looking renders. Is that clear? Okay, I put this in the tutorial so that when you listen to the tutorial again, you are reminded. Good. Let's stop this.